Chapter 3. The Old Path. The feather would not burn. Orren woke to that first. Not pain. Pain had become too large to be first. It lay under everything now. A country he had been dragged into and told to name home. His arm pulsed. His throat scraped with every breath. His knees ached. His ribs complained. His jaw throbbed where rain and fear had clenched it too long. Those were all waiting when he opened his eyes. But the feather was in the fire, and it would not burn. It lay across the little flames, pale and veined with dark red, its edges untouched, while orange tongues worried at it from below. The fire itself was wrong, too small to have warmed him through the night, too steady for wet ground, smelling faintly of onion and old bread instead of smoke. Iren sat on the other side with his chin propped in one hand, watching the feather as if it had insulted him. "Difficult," he said. Orren blinked. The sky overhead had gone grey, not morning grey, not evening. The kind of light that had given up choosing a side. Mist hung low over the road. Grass bent under beads of water. A line of stones ran away from the fire and disappeared after 10 paces, then appeared again farther on at the wrong angle. The old road? The last house. Ivara. He tried to sit up. The world buckled. Iren's hand was suddenly at his shoulder, not forcing him down, only stopping him from falling sideways into the fire. "Slowly," Iren said. Orren knocked the hand away. The motion hurt enough to blind him. He bit down on a cry and tasted old blood. Iren let his hand fall. "Yes. Excellent. We have reached the proud stage of dying, much more dignified than the shivering stage, though less efficient." Orren breathed through his nose, until the black at the edges of his sight retreated. "How long?" "Long enough for me to do several necessary things and 2 unnecessary ones." "That is not an answer." "It is, if you stop expecting numbers to do all your living for you." Orren looked at the mist. "Is it morning?" "Somewhere." He hated him. The hate was useful. It gave him something cleaner than grief to hold. He pushed himself upright, this time more slowly. His bandaged arm lay across his lap. The cloth around it was not his. Finer weave, torn unevenly. Iren's shirt hem, perhaps? Blood had soaked through and dried stiff. His hand below it had swollen at the knuckles. Sand still sat under his nails. Sand. Wing blood. Malin's face. He looked at the feather in the fire. Iren followed his gaze. It refused the usual arguments. "Whose is it?" The road went very quiet. The fire made no sound. That bothered Orren more than it should have. Fire should crack. It should eat. This one only existed. "You know whose," Iren said. Orren's throat worked. He did know. The feather had the same red dark veining as the torn wing on the beach. The wing he had held, pulled, broken. The wing that had fought him not like a weapon, but like a body begging not to be made into one. He looked away. "I thought you burned it." "I tried." "Why?" "Because leaving pieces of old powerful dead things beside sleeping fevered singers is generally frowned upon by people with sense." "Did she leave it?" "Yes." Orren waited. Iren sighed. "No, perhaps. Not in the way a woman might leave a glove on a table. Her song left it. Her soul left it. Her death tripped over itself and something fell out. Choose whatever sentence you dislike least." Orren stared at the feather until the blue-red veins blurred. "She followed us. She is not following as a hound follows meat. You keep correcting the wrong words. You keep using words as if grief makes them accurate." Orren laughed once. The sound tore his throat. He bent forward, coughing. Pain opened in his chest. His mouth filled with a copper taste. He spat into the grass. Red threaded the spit. Iren watched with irritating attention. "Will I lose my voice?" Orren asked. It was not the question he meant to ask. It was the one his body chose. Iren's face changed by almost nothing. Orren saw it anyway. "Not today," Iren said. The answer was too careful. Orren wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. "That means yes someday. That means I am not in charge of someday. A relief to all parties. I need it. Yes, for Ivara." Iren looked into the fire. The feather lay untouched. Orren hated him again. It was easier than hating the silence after Ivara's name. He tried to stand. His legs shook badly, but they held, barely. One boot gone, the other stiff with dried salt. His foot, without the boot, sank cold into the wet grass. He looked down at it stupidly, as if expecting the missing boot to explain itself. Iren rose, too, light as a thought. "Can you walk?" Orren took one step. His knee nearly folded. He locked it. "Yes." Iren's mouth twitched. "A bold interpretation. Show me the road." "You are on it. Then show me the right part." "That is better." Orren looked at him. Iren smiled without warmth. "Words matter, especially where we are going. Best practice now, while mistakes still only embarrass you." The feather stirred in the fire. Not from wind. Orren saw it move, and had to look away because the motion was too much like a hand. They left the fire burning behind them. Orren noticed, after 10 paces, "You're leaving it? It will go out. It isn't burning anything. Then it will stop not burning anything." Orren looked back. The little fire had already become a blur in the mist. The feather was no longer visible. For half a breath, he thought of turning around, taking it, keeping proof that Malin had been real, that the beach had happened, that the word "my boy" had not only been a trick of drowning grief. Then he remembered the wing in his hands. He walked on. The road did not look like a road for the first mile. It looked like a stretch of stubborn ground that had forgotten how to belong to the hill around it. Rain lay in the grass on either side, but the path itself stayed dry. Stones appeared where Orren needed to put a foot, though never early enough to comfort him. Once he stepped toward what seemed to be mud, and found hard ground under him only when his weight committed. Another time he trusted a flat stone, and it sank just enough to laugh at him. Iren walked ahead with his hands folded behind his back, barefoot, dry, unfairly cheerful. Orren tried to hate that too, but exhaustion took the edge off everything. His body moved in pieces, the wounded arm, the raw throat, the knee that had struck sand or stone or ship, and now disliked bending, the bare foot numb from cold, his ribs, one of which might be cracked, though he had no room left in himself to care. Each pain kept its own rhythm. He listened to them because he had nothing else to sing. Step, throat, step, arm, step, Ivara. The name entered uninvited. He almost shaped it into melody. His throat closed around it. Not yet. He did not know whether he stopped himself because she had asked him not to make her name into a song, or because he was afraid the name would come out empty. Ahead, Iren glanced back. Orren glared at him. "I did not say anything," Iren said. "You looked. My apologies. I shall try guiding you blind." "Could you?" "Yes, badly." Orren breathed through the pain until words became possible. "Does she know?" Iren slowed. "Who?" "Ivara." "Does she know what?" "That I'm coming?" The road changed under the question. Not much. A colder stone, a darker stretch of grass. Mist drawing closer to Orren's shoulders. Iren stopped walking. Orren nearly ran into him. "I do not know," Iren said. "Honest. Too honest." Orren wished he had lied. "She is in the last house. That is where the dead go." "You said she did not go by the ordinary bank." "I said no such thing to you." "You thought it." Iren turned. For the first time since Orren had met him, he looked properly startled. "Good." Orren smiled, though it hurt his split lip. You are not the only one who hears things he should not. The surprise faded into something more guarded. That may be true, Iren said. What does it mean? It means you should not drink from anything that whispers your name. Orren stared at him. You think that is a joke? Iren said. It is mostly not, Iren. The god's eyes moved past Orren for a moment, toward the mist behind them. The road had taken the fire entirely now. No glow, no feather, no camp, no shore, only the path and the wet grey light. She entered strangely, Iren said. The words were reluctant. Orren felt hope rise so fast it made him dizzy. Strangely how? If I knew, I would have chosen a more satisfying adverb. Could strange mean alive? No. The word struck hard enough that Orren's knees loosened again. Iren reached as if to steady him, then seemed to think better of it. Orren stayed upright out of spite. Do not do that, he said. Answer? Give hope and cut it in the same breath. You asked whether strange meant alive. It does not. But strange is not nothing. Orren swallowed. Strange is not nothing. He took that because there was nothing else. They walked again. The landscape changed when Orren blinked. At one step, wet scrub and low stones. At the next, a line of black pines leaning toward them, though no pine grew near that coast. He stopped and looked back. The wet scrub remained behind them. Ahead, pines. To the side, nothing but mist. No seam, no crossing. The road had simply decided another place came next. Where are we? He asked. Yes, Iren said. Orren looked at him. I am too tired to enjoy you. That improves many people's judgment. Where? On an old road? You keep saying that, as if it explains anything. It explains enough. Roads are less about where than how. That explains less. To you. The pines whispered overhead. No wind moved them. Orren tried to listen for birds, and heard none. No insects, no distant water, no creak of branches. The trees moved, but made no ordinary tree sounds. Their needles brushed together like people murmuring in the next room. He could not make out words. Good. He did not want more voices. Then one spoke clearly. Not in the air. Inside the rhythm of his next step, Orren. He stopped. Iren stopped too, but did not turn. Do not answer. Orren stared at the trees. Who is it? Road. That was not a road. Everything is, if one has low standards, and enough grief. The voice came again. This time it sounded like Mara. Boy, Orren's chest tightened. The low beam appeared between two pines. Not fully. A glow only. A door opening in rain. Mara's hand on her hip. Torv lifting two wrapped fingers. The boy under the table with his spoon. Then it vanished. Orren had taken one step toward it before he knew he had moved. Iren's hand closed around the back of his collar and yanked him upright. Orren choked. Do not, Iren said. Orren ripped free. That was Mara. That was a road wearing her voice, because you were foolish enough to miss her loudly. I didn't say. Missing is rarely verbal. Orren looked between the pines. Nothing. No tavern glow. No door. No Mara. He had left without saying goodbye. There had not been time. That was true. That was also a coward's pocket. He pressed his good hand against his eyes. I should have. Yes, Iren said. Orren dropped his hand. Iren looked back at him. You expected comfort? No, you should have. You will carry it. Now keep walking. The cruelty helped. Orren hated that it did. He walked. The pines thinned into a slope of yellow grass under a white sky. No rain here. Heat pressed against the road. Sudden and dry. So strange after Skeldrun and storm that Orren's body did not know how to receive it. Sweat opened under the salt crust on his skin. His bare foot found dust instead of wet grass. He had never been this warm and this cold together. Iren did not seem to notice. Of course, Orren wiped his face with his sleeve, and regretted it when cloth dragged over split skin. How far does it go? To the beginning of the descent, which is how far? Asking again has not changed the road's length. It may change my hatred of you. That, at least, seems to need no assistance. Orren walked until speech cost too much. The heat grew. The yellow grass gave way to black earth cracked into plates, then to a road of white stones that burned his bare foot. Then, in one blink, to a shaded lane beneath trees, hung with strips of cloth. Some strips were new, some had rotted into threads, some were stained dark with old weather. Each one moved slightly as they passed, though the air was still. What are those? Orren asked. Promises. He looked at the cloth strips. To whom? That is the problem with promises. People forget the listener and remember only the performance. Orren's jaw tightened. Iren glanced at him. Yes, that one was pointed. You know nothing of me. I know you kept singing after your throat began tearing, because men on a ship needed anchoring. Orren said nothing. I know you tore apart an elder creature with your hands, and now cannot decide whether guilt or anger is more faithful to the woman you lost. Stop. I know you nearly sang Ivara's name a moment ago, and swallowed it because she taught you fear of your own gift in under a day, which suggests she is either very wise or you are very late to the lesson. Orren stopped walking. The strips of cloth moved around them, every one a small, dry tongue. What are you doing? He asked. Seeing whether you prefer honesty once it stops flattering you. I prefer silence. No, you do not. Orren's good hand curled. Careful. Iren looked at the hand, then back at his face. The god smiled. Not mockingly this time. Sadly. There, Iren said. That is the trouble. Orren wanted to hit him. He did not, because he could not afford the strength. Because Iren might vanish and leave him. Because Ivara was below, and every delay was another cruelty. Because some part of him, small and raw, knew Iren had set the knife in the right place. He turned and kept walking. The cloth strips whispered overhead. For a time, Iren did not speak. That was almost worse. At the end of the lane, they came to a tree split down the middle by lightning. Its heartwood had burned black long ago, but green leaves grew from one side. The road passed through the gap in the trunk. Iren stopped before it. Orren did too, because the space inside the tree was dark. Not shadow, dark, a vertical seam of night standing inside the burned trunk. No, Orren said. Iren looked at him. You have become wonderfully concise. What is that? A short way. To where? Closer. To the last house. To the path that remembers how to reach it. Orren stared into the black seam. It smelled faintly of smoke. Not ship smoke. Not fire from the hearth. House smoke. Wet thatch, burning badly. Old wood giving way. Oil, ash, bread. Ivara's house. He stepped back. Iren's face lost its humor. Not every door is kind enough to smell different from what hurt you, he said. I can't. Yes, you can. Do not tell me. You can, Iren said again. Whether you should is another matter. Orren looked at him. Then should I? Iren did not answer quickly. Orren almost laughed. You do not know? I know several endings. That is not an answer. No, it is a burden pretending to be one. Orren looked into the seam. Smoke. Dark. Heat. The sound of a roof giving in. Ivara walking through rain with no cloak. Ivara saying there was no house. Ivara's hand wrapped badly in his room. Ivara alive because she had escaped fire, then dead because she had followed him into water. He had told her to follow. He would tell the dark the same thing now, if he went first. The thought made his stomach twist. "What happens if I turn back?" he asked. Iren watched him closely. "Now? Yes. You live, perhaps. And Ivara?" Iren's expression said enough. The black seam waited. Orren stepped into it. The world narrowed to the width of his shoulders. Heat passed over his face. Smoke filled his nose. He heard a bowl shatter, a belt snap. Wood split inward. A man grunt in pain. Ivara say Papa in a voice that did not belong to the woman he knew, but to a child still hidden somewhere inside her. Orren stumbled. A hand caught his wrist. Not Iren's. Too small, too calloused. Warm through smoke. Ivara? He turned toward it. The hand vanished. He fell out the other side of the tree onto cold stone. His knees hit hard. He stayed there, coughing. No smoke. No tree. No yellow grass. They stood at the edge of a wide, empty basin under a ceiling of stone. Orren lifted his head slowly. Underground. The sky was gone. A faint red glow breathed somewhere far below. Not flame, not sun. The air was dry and mineral-heavy. The road under him had become a ledge cut into a cavern wall. It wound downward along black rock, descending into a depth he could not see. Iren stepped out of the air beside him, as if he had taken a different and more polite door. Orren glared at him from the ground. "You could have warned me." "I did." Repeatedly, in spirit. Orren pushed himself to his feet. His whole body shook. The cavern stretched beyond sight. Above them, stone vanished into darkness. Below, the red glow moved, as if water carried it. A sound rose from the depths, rushing, distant, steady. A river, not the sea, not mercy. Orren's throat had gone dry at once. "Water," he said. Iren's head turned sharply. "Not yet. I need. Not yet." The tone stopped him. For once, no joke. Orren looked at him. Iren's face had gone still, his eyes on the unseen river below. "Listen carefully," Iren said. "From this point on, nothing down here is only what it seems to be. Not water, not stone, not hunger, not pity, not a door, not a name. If something offers relief before asking your name, assume the question came first, and you failed to hear it." Orren swallowed with a throat that felt made of scraped leather. "Is that a rule?" "That is me, trying to keep you from becoming a cautionary song before the gates." The gates. The words moved through him. Ivara was somewhere beyond them, or below them, or held by the house they guarded. Hope returned, thin and painful as a stitch pulled through skin. He looked down the ledge. "How far?" Iren sighed. Then, to Orren's surprise, he answered plainly. "Far enough to hurt. Not far enough to stop." Orren nodded. The cavern air carried the river sound upward. Under it, so faint he thought at first it was only blood in his ears, came another sound. A song. Not Malin. Not the choir. Not his own. A low voice beneath many voices, holding them in a shape large enough to bear their grief. Orren froze. Iren watched him hear it. "Volos," Orren said. Iren winced. Quieter. The song went on below them. Deep. Patient. Terrible. Orren took one step down the ledge. His body almost failed. He did not let it. Another step. The path descended under his bare and booted feet, stone after stone, toward the river and the song beneath the world.
Rain on the sill, salt in the flame. When the door goes quiet and the room lets go, lay the last word gently where the dark runs slow.
There is still a road under ash, under rain. There is still a voice trying not to break. Carry the song through the dark and the foam. Carry the name when the cold calls home. Leave one small light where the lost can remain. I will find you by listening. You will know me by name.
Rain